Hello, and welcome to the Parallels Desktop for Mac Business Edition webinar. My name's Ian Appleby, and I'm the Territory Manager for Parallels Desktop Solution for UK and Ireland, and I'll be taking you through the webinar today. Going to cover some simple topics. First, for those of the uninitiated among you, I'll talk a little bit about who we are as Parallels and what we do. Then a look at how Mac devices are coming more and more into business and corporate and learning environments and the sort of challenges that that poses. Why we think it's a good idea for you to choose Parallels Desktop Business Edition as a solution. And then I'll look at some features, current features and also new features in the new version, version 16, which launched on the 11th of August. So Parallels, we're a global software company. You might have guessed that. We're present in 140 countries around the world, represented in those countries by more than 5,000 channel partners who engage with you and help us sell our products. In terms of reach within business, more than 20% of the Fortune 500 companies use and trust Parallels as a solution. And we also have a consumer product, and there are more than 7 million individuals around the globe who are using that consumer product, primarily to run Windows and Windows applications on a Mac. And within business, more than 50,000 businesses rely on the capabilities of Parallels Desktop to be able to run Windows applications on Mac computers. But Parallels Desktop isn't our only solution. Yes, it is the easiest, fastest, and most powerful solution for running Windows on a Mac. But we also have a number of other solutions. And that was my phone ringing. Sorry about that. Parallels Toolbox for Mac and Windows is a really powerful set of tools. And if you're a Parallels Desktop for Mac Business Edition user already, you will have Parallels Toolbox as it comes bundled with the software. I use this every day, several times a day. I'm using it right now to stop any interruptions on my screen. Sadly, it doesn't stop the phone ringing, but it will stop any interruptions from coming up on my screen while I'm presenting to you. It'll also stop my Mac from going to sleep if I ask it to do that. There are more than 30 tools, small day-to-day useful tools, and I recommend that you have a look at that. It's a great little device. We also have Parallels Access, which allows you to access your desktop from anywhere. And in these difficult times, when it's not always possible to get to your office, then Parallels Access is a great tool. And we have two enterprise softwares as well. Remote Application Server, which is a great remote application delivery and VDI solution. And Parallels Mac Management, which is actually a plugin for Microsoft Config Manager. And it allows IT admins to control their Mac computers under the same pane of glass and with the same infrastructure as they control their Windows estate. So that's the breadth of the portfolio. And why do we do all this? We do all this, and we're in business because Mac is a growing part of the computer environment within businesses and within education. At latest count, the Mac OS market share was around about 10% worldwide, and that's growing year on year. It's grown 25% in the last 4 years. And we know that that means that Mac computers have about the same penetration because Mac OS is only licensed on Mac computers. So about 10% of computers out there are Macs. And most Mac users prefer to work with Macs because they perceive they have increased productivity. If you're a Mac user and if you know Mac users, you know that on the whole, we're all big fans of the devices that we use. And in terms of employees, a lot of companies now are moving towards choose your own and bring your own device policies. And the reason they're doing that is that we're all aware that employees feel more valued when they're allowed to choose or bring their own device to work. And many more of those employees are choosing Mac, and that's helping drive Macs in the workplace. But we also know that in terms of Mac users, the large majority experience issues with their device less frequently than PC users do. And Mac users generally, as I've said, they love their Macs, but also they find them more efficient and less problematic to use in the workplace. But Macs coming into the workplace can cause a number of challenges. And the number one challenge, and I think that we'd all accept this, is that we live in a Windows dominated world. And within a business environment in particular, many important business applications are written only for Windows and are simply not available natively on the Mac. So that's where Parallels comes in. Also, from a brand loyalty and from a point of view of employee productivity, employees want to use Macs. If they're forced to use Windows, then they have a learning curve because they're often Mac users at home, and that can make them less productive if they have to get familiar with Windows devices. But also because of wanting to use Mac but living in a Windows world, we have to use multiple different operating systems at the same time. Windows, Mac, sometimes Linux, sometimes even others, especially maybe if we're in a software development or a testing environment where we need to be able to test on Safari and Chrome and Internet Explorer and Edge, our beta versions of our software, and making sure that they work in all of those different environments. So we come in here, and there are corporate objectives, things that businesses are trying to do that we can help, and that's where Parallels really comes into its own. So firstly, choose your own and bring your own device strategies. Now, I've talked about those a little bit. Employees are choosing Mac, bringing Mac into the workplace, and because the workplace needs Windows and Windows applications, then Parallels can help run both operating systems on the same device. Companies can provide access to Mac and Windows applications instantly, and from a productivity point of view, that we can provide a similar experience on both operating systems, so you don't have that steep learning curve, because Mac users will be very familiar with the way that their Windows applications look when they're using them on a Mac. So it can save on training and speed up onboarding. What else do we do to increase operational efficiency? So the first thing and the most important thing, and what we're really known for, is running Windows side by side on a Mac with the Mac operating system, and being able to switch seamlessly between the Mac and the Windows environments, either running them in a coherence mode where they're absolutely integrated, or simply by swiping 3 fingers on the trackpad, moving between Mac and Windows and swiping back again, and it's all very quick and easy. We allow external USB devices to be plugged into a Mac and used in a Windows environment. And some of these are actually Windows-only compatible devices, but you can now plug them into your Mac and use what's on those devices in the Windows environment. Printing can be a nightmare if you've got different devices in the market, in the workplace, but we allow, through Parallels Desktop for Business, users to print Windows files onto printers which are configured to run in the Mac environment. And that's really important. And primarily from a point of view of speed of operation, we don't need you to log out of Mac and into Windows and back again, for instance, like you have to with Boot Camp, in order to launch Windows on a Mac and move back vice versa. So we're very quick and easy from that point of view. So what do you need to be able to do this? So firstly, once you have Parallels Desktop loaded on your machine, you do need Windows operating system or another operating system. and you'll need a Windows license. It's not included in the software. We provide you with the ability to do it, but not actually with the Windows. Now, very shortly, unless it's already happened by the time you're listening to this webinar, Apple will be releasing their next operating system. And this is a big release for them. We're moving away from OS 10 onto OS 11, Big Sur. We're already primed for that. Parallels Desktop 16 is ready to run Big Sur, ready to run on Big Sur when it comes. But also we're backward compatible with Catalina, Mojave, High Sierra. We always give you at least 4 operating systems from Mac that you can run on. We're ready for mass deployment, so using Jamf, Apple Remote Desktop, our own Parallels Mac Management product plugged into Microsoft Config Manager. You can deploy our software in a mass way using any of those devices. And with the Parallels subscription, you qualify for 24/7 premium support. And of course, with the subscription, any upgrades and new versions are available to you during the life of the subscription. So the key features, what do you get with Parallels Desktop for Business? So number one, from a productivity point of view, you can run Mac and Windows operating systems side by side without having to pause, without having to reboot. And also, very importantly, all files and folders are seamlessly available between applications on both Mac and Windows. Setup is really easy with Parallels Desktop. When you download it and install it, it knows what you need to get up and running. If you need Windows, it'll tell you to download Windows. If you already have Windows on your machine, if you have it in Boot Camp, it will allow you to use that Windows installation to bring into a new virtual machine through Parallels Desktop. Now, graphics, we've done a lot of work on this over the last 2 versions. We can run really graphic-heavy, resource-hungry Windows applications now on the Mac without slowing it down. In the last version, we released compatibility with Metal, so DirectX 11 will now run very well, or DirectX 11 applications will run very well. And in this version, we've got improved support for OpenGL3, so apps will run much faster. We give you a choice of how it looks. So I'm a fan of coherence mode. My Windows applications are there in my toolbar, ready for me to use. All I do is click on them and they open as just like any Mac application. You can actually set it so that Windows will occupy the whole screen and your Mac will look like a Windows desktop. A lot of people bringing their Macs into the workplace like to do this. So while they're at work, their Mac looks like a PC. They take it home, it becomes a Mac again, and you can choose which one you have at any one time. In terms of compatibility, then we will run almost, I have to kind of say almost rather than every, because there's always going to be an exception. But business critical apps, without any sort of slowing down, without any trade-off in performance, will run on your Mac. Microsoft Office is still the most popular suite of applications that we run. But things like QuickBooks, which is Windows only, running things like SAP on a client via Internet Explorer or Edge, those sorts of things which you could only do in Windows, you can now do on the Mac. And as I said earlier, Parallels Desktop 16, the current version launched on August the 11th, will support 4-host Mac OS versions, right back to High Sierra, so that if you don't want to upgrade your hardware, then you can still use old operating systems. You don't have to have the very, very latest in order to use our products. So now, new features in the current version. We've got even better improved graphic support with the OpenGL3 support. With a product like Parallels, which we're now on version 16, we're always looking still to make kind of core improvements. And the speed that the product launches and the way that Windows launches and resumes is getting faster all the time. And also with every version, we take up less space on the Mac as well, because space is at a premium. We know that. In terms of support for the Mac operating system, this is one of the core reasons why subscription is really important, and the ability to get the latest versions when they come out. When the next release of Mac OS arrives, Big Sur, Mac OS 11, there's a lot of change on there, and we've worked tirelessly, thousands of man hours in order to have this ready, so that we're ready for the new operating system when it arrives. Parallels Desktop 16 on Big Sur, one of the big changes, doesn't require system extensions, and this makes deployment absolutely seamless. And this is a real change implemented by Apple and by us, which is out in this new version. And we have some brand new printing features as well. Two-sided printing, it's new to us from the Windows point of view. And so from a Windows application, you can print two-sided onto a Mac bound printer. Within Parallels Desktop Business Edition, the reason most of our customers choose this over our other versions is because of the admin features. And for an IT admin, those of you who are in that role, who are listening to this, will appreciate it, I'm sure. We allow you to deploy hundreds of installations really, really quickly, using things like Jamf Pro and Parallels Mac Management, as we've already said. But also you can tune those Parallels Desktop settings and deliver them so that the end user doesn't have to worry about the way that Parallels Desktop is set up. You can do that as an admin before you deploy. And Parallels has a great portal, log into your account, and all of this can be done through the Parallels Desktop account on our website. From an admin point of view, both for an IT admin, for purchasing, for finance, we allow you to use a single license key for all installations. It's a single contract, and on the subscription, it's a single renewal date as well, and a single transaction. So whether it's 5 or 5,000 licenses and users that you have within the business, they can all be controlled in exactly the same way and all be done on one single transaction. And you can look into the portal, you can see your license usage stats, and you can manage deployed licenses. You can take them off machines, put them onto new machines, all through the portal. Very, very straightforward. Setup is really quick, which is really important to you. You can get new users enrolled in just a few clicks. You can use our automatically generated emails, and you send those to the user. There's a link on there. They click, they get it downloaded. The installations just happen automatically. And security as well. Obviously, security is very important to you. We allow you to enforce policies for things like USB sticks, smart cards, other external devices. You can either lock them down or not. And you can allow all of your Mac-based Windows instances, all the virtual machines, to be tied into Active Directory as well. And data protection is important to you as well. If you have contractors in the building who are there only for a short time, you can allow them to use Parallels Desktop on Windows on those desktops, but with a virtual machine that will actually expire after a certain time. So when those contractors leave the building, you can make sure they don't take anything with them. New admin features, and this is a great one for IT admins. We now allow you to download a corporate Windows VM, a pre-configured virtual machine from the My Account portal on Parallels. So everybody gets the corporate Windows that you want them to receive in the way that you want it to appear, and with all of the policies that you have already applied. And that's a great addition to the features. Now, from a point of view of upgrades, we now allow you either to allow automatic Parallels updates or to disable automatic upgrades, and for you to be able to do that whenever you want. But if you allow the automatic access, then you don't need to put an admin password in every time this happens. It can save you time, or you can block it from happening. We give you the choice. And it's easier to update, so you don't need admin credentials to update Parallels Desktop. In terms of installation on Big Sur, a big change here is that there's no requirement for the approval of system extensions by admin. because there are no external system extensions coming from the Parallels desktop side. It makes installation really quick, it's seamless, and once you've passed it on to them, you don't need to get involved with the individual approving of those extensions. So let's have a quick look at what we get then within Parallels. Number one, with our subscription, you're always up to date. We're optimized for the latest Windows 10 updates, and we're absolutely ready for Big Sur when that comes out in the autumn. And obviously, as I've said, also Catalina, Mojave, High Sierra, we work with all of those. From a flexibility point of view, we work with OS X, Windows 10 down to Windows 8, Linux, Unix, Mac OS Server. There's no need now to choose between a Mac or a PC. You can have the best of both worlds on a single device. We support Retina display. From a connection point of view, USB, USB-C, FireWire devices, you can connect with Windows through your Mac on those sorts of devices. It's very important to have Office 365 integration. That's probably still the main reason why people are using Parallels Desktop. Yes, Office for Mac exists, and yes, it's good, but it's different. If you're used to using Office for Windows, it can be a hard transition to Office for Mac. As a Mac user, I use all of my Office suite in a Windows environment, even Outlook. Outlook's very different on a Mac. And one-click tuning. This is really important as well for your users. If your main thing is games, design, software testing, there's one click to choose the best settings for each of those sorts of environments and those sort of workflows. So you don't have to fiddle with individual settings. Just press it once and it will set Parallels Desktop exactly how you need it. So let's just recap. What are our key differentiators? So virtualization. We're using Mac and Windows OS side by side. We're sharing files and folders between applications on Mac and Windows. It doesn't matter which operating system they're in. There's no need to reboot when you want to move from Mac to Windows and back again. They're both running seamlessly side by side. And now even more graphic heavy, resource hungry Windows applications will run great. They won't slow you down. Performance and graphics, we've talked about graphics. We're getting better and faster at running graphic hungry applications. DirectX 11 via Metal is brilliant, and applications that rely on that will now run in Windows. And support for OpenGL 3 makes running things on the Mac even faster too. I've talked about the ease of use, downloading and installing, not having to reboot, but you can use your current Boot Camp Windows in your virtual machine. So if you have a Windows license already installed, you can use that license to run the virtual machine Windows as well. And in terms of integration, Windows and Mac are absolutely in coherence mode, integrated. You don't know as a user that you're running Mac and Windows. You click on the application, it just opens and it just runs and it's there for you when you need it. And I'm going to let you look at this slide on your own. Is there competition? Yes, of course there is. We're not the only players in the market. Boot Camp is there and it's free. But why do we think we're better? Because from a productivity point of view, you don't have to reboot ever to move between Mac and Windows and back again. And because they're running both at the same time, your files are there to be used and shared between Mac and Windows applications. And yes, VMware, great company, great product, likewise with Oracle. But there are some reasons on there why we believe we're better, we give a better performance. And from a PC point of view, yeah, PCs. Let's face it, it's 90% of the marketplace. But we give you the best of both worlds, PC and Mac, on the same device. And you don't just have to take my word for it. So Jacob Chews from Mayborn Wolf, You can read it, but I'm going to read it to you. Compared to competing products, Parallels Desktop is user-friendly, integrated into macOS in a better way, and easier to configure. Couldn't have put it better myself, Jacob. Alexander Huber is a man of few words, but what great words they are. Parallels Desktop is the ideal solution for our back office. Harry Schuler, on the other hand, is a man of many words, and I'm not going to read that one out to you, but suffice to say, he loves Parallels Desktop for Business. Now, that's the end of the presentation. I just want to thank you all for joining. If your curiosity has been sparked and you'd like to have a look at Parallels Desktop, then go to parallels.com and you can download a trial, have a play, see how it works for you. Pull in some of your Windows applications and just put it through its paces. You won't be disappointed. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope to see you all again soon.